billion cedis to support the budget after huge revenue shortfalls. Presenting the supplementary budget and half-year performance of the economy to Parliament, he said government is on the path to achieving its goals and that several global developments did not change the course of government's direction.
Net domestic financing of the 2016 deficit is now estimated at 6.4 billion Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, the revisions to the fiscal framework will result in a requirement of an appropriation of 55,998,055,121 Ghana cedis against an amount of 734 appropriated in the 2016 budget. Request for approval of supplementary estimates. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned earlier in this presentation, the aim of this supplementary estimate is to seek parliamentary approval to commit additional resources outlined in this report to fund additional expenditures resulting from the revisions made to the 2016 budget. In this regard, we are requesting approval for a total amount of 1,888,203,387 Ghana cedis as supplementary estimates for the 2016 financial year.
Meanwhile, Finance Minister Setekpe said the current $45 to $48 is still below oil price projections used in the 2016 budget. This, coupled with the defects in the FPSO, he said, has affected Ghana's production of oil and revenue it gains from the sale of oil. Now, the Finance Minister has therefore pegged the new petroleum benchmark estimates at $43.37 per barrel.
Crude oil prices fell to $28 per barrel as noted earlier. We also noted the defects in the FPSO, as well as, on a more positive note side, the imposition of levies that have resulted in an increase in revenues. Mr. Speaker, using the methodology prescribed under the PRMA, the price of $86 per barrel, or even the revised price of $53 per barrel, will not be met. Mr. Speaker, based on the revised price of $53 per barrel and quantity of 38.73 million barrels used for the 2016 budget, the estimated total petroleum receipts was 2 billion Ghana cedis. Of this amount, 1 billion was allocated to the ABFA to finance critical capital projects. Mr. Speaker, the crude oil price is estimated to average a wide range of $40 and $50 per barrel for 2016, lower than the average of $53. These developments will obviously affect the implementation of the 2016 budget. Mr. Speaker, on the authority of His Excellency President Mahama, and consistent with Section 7, subsection 2 and 3 of the PRMA, I would like to recommend to the House a revision in the benchmark revenue and its associated expenditures outlined in the 2016 budget. The purpose is to ensure the achievement of the macroeconomic objectives, prudent management, and also transparency.
Now, on energy, he said government is to invest a portion of the stabilization levy into building more fuel tanks, as BAFA has done in the United States and South Africa. Finance Minister Setekpe mentioned the thermal power plant, TICO, Phase 2, as Sogli plants, Ameri, and the car powers, part of efforts to bring installed capacity to meet current demand. Deregulation in 2005 as part of the energy sector reform has been given a major boost. Now, according to him, he said the automatic adjustment formula has cut losses of more than 400 million cedis.
Mr. Speaker, the petroleum sector is being integrated into the economy and contributes about 7% to the GDP. Oil revenues contribute about 3% of total revenue and 1% to GDP. Among others, significant progress has been made in the following projects. Mr. Speaker, the two new fields, namely the 10 field and the Sankofa Ginyami fields, are at various stages of development. I am happy to report that the first oil from the 10 field will likely occur in August this year, whilst the Sankofa field is scheduled to start production in 2017. The Trouble Gas Processing Plant also continues to produce gas. Mr. Speaker, it will be recalled that President Mahama repeatedly assured Ghanaians of his government's determination to fix rather than manage the power situation. Consequently, under his able leadership, the power sector has benefited from significant development and investments. Mr. Speaker, some of the projects include the Omutama Power Plant, the Tico Power Plant, the first half and phase 2 of the Assembly Plant, the BHC Solar Plant, the Car Power and Ameri plants, and others such as AXA, as well as SEMPA.
All right, so that was the finance minister. Now, my colleague, correspondent George Rafi, was in Parliament today, and he has joined me here to tell us more. George, you're welcome to Business Live.
Thank you so much.
Now, aside the revenue base or the 1.8 billion TDs that the government is demanding, aside that one and aside petroleum and energy development, what other issues were
Well, he spoke about what they're doing. You know, come next year, October, they have to pay the Euro bond that they went to, the 2007 Euro bond. He also announced some measures that he believes that would help pay those debts off. Again, he said that the IMF board is proposing August 29 as a date to consider the assessment under the IMF program. Now, that will be based on meeting certain critical conditions, which if they are able to meet, indeed, the fund will meet on August 29th to actually review Ghana's performance under the program. And don't forget that this review is critical because our donor partners, the World Bank, they are all dependent on this report by the IMF to really find out how government has been faring in terms of programs aimed at stabilizing the economy. Don't forget, government also wants to go out and raise a little $1 billion through the Eurobond. The investors are asking, how did you fare under the fund program for this particular period? So the minister was saying that all other things being equal, now the IMF has proposed a new day. We know we heard about this September ending date. Now he's saying that August 29 is the proposed date that they are actually looking to address. He also talked about measures to deal with dormant accounts in the banking sector, and also how government is going to use the public-private partnership to try and address the funding gap when it comes to infrastructure in the country.
Now, back to the energy situation or the energy crisis that we are facing as a country. Were you impressed with what the minister, outlined as solutions?
Well, there were some measures that he outlined, but later on, I spoke to Kofi Boa, and he was giving some fine details as to how far they have come to negotiating with WAPCO and even payment of VRA's debt so that the situation can be improved. There's an assurance from him, and I remember posing a question to him about, listen, so with all these things that you are planning to do or you claim that you have done, how would that impact the current do-so that we are experiencing, and how would that bring an end? And his assurance is that all other things being equal, the doom-so could be ending very soon.
So before you go, what about the microfinance situation? Was it addressed?
There were some issues that he touched on, again, in trying to more improve regulation and see how those assets that they have identified, how they can use that to pay off these depositors that put in money into those microfinance companies. So improving regulation and see how they can also be paid off. That is what he spoke about in his address.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rafi.
All right. So that was George Rafi. Now, Minister of Petroleum, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, will give us some assurance that government will improve the power situation by paying up in the indebtedness of WAPCO and also VRA. Let's have excerpts of that interview.
This work of turning the energy sector around is a challenging one. Today, as we speak, what is happening? What is happening is that the power plants in the Eastern Enclave in Tema, those that use only gas, and that's no excuse, but because people intentionally do not want to tell the people of Ghana, they like the truth. And you know what? When you level with them and tell them what is happening, they understand.
But the truth
is
that
the people of Ghana know that the issue we have right now. I was just in Abuja with a committee of ministers of the West Africa Gas Pipeline, with WAPI present. We've been able to agree on a plan to clear all this indebtedness, and so there's no issue. Down payment has been made. There's a plan in place. So the problem we have right now is not, and take my word for it, WAPI has lifted all those issues about ban on gas. The problem is that we have no control of terrorists who decide to blow the pipeline that will bring the gas to Ghana. That's the challenge.
But subject to the fact that you've made this arrangement with WAPCO, when are the gas going to start flowing from Nigeria
as soon as we are able to repair those damaged pipelines and there's some certainty that they won't be blown up? That's the challenge we have. But that's why we are working overnight to make sure that we as a country can address the issue of import of LNG and can address the connection of East-West pipeline, so that ultimately we will be independent of all this. We are working day and night, but let me tell you, there's a challenge, and some of the challenges, like blowing the pipeline that bring the gas to Ghana, me and you, we don't have control, but we are working with the authorities in Nigeria to address those.
So if they're able to fix all these problems with the pipes, the economists will say all other things being equal, can these guys hit the machines from next month?
If you have control of the terrorists and they won't blow the pipeline if it's fixed, what we have to do is to engage the authorities in Nigeria who have control, but more importantly is to make sure we work on our LNG things we are working on and make sure we can extend the pipeline, which we are doing overnight. We are working so hard.
Come back to the
In another development, some members of parliament and government functionaries expressed their reactions to the presentation of the mid-year budget in parliament.
Clear budget we have for the electoral commission, we are making sure that we give them enough funds to be able to run an efficient and peaceful election, and so there's no overspending for purposes of elections. So we are very comfortable with that. One of the areas is the Energy Sector Levy Act, as you know, that was rolled out. There was revenue that came from that, but there was also expenditure. So we need to report on the revenue and the expenditure that will come out of that. So the 1.88 billion, part of that covers the expenditure to do with the ESLA that came out, and the rest goes into the other areas that we need to manage because the oil price has been readjusted. We benchmarked the budget last year, 2016 budget, at $53, but this time we are down to $45 per barrel, and therefore there is difference in the revenue that we need to report back. So we need part of that to take care of the difference.
Economies are measured by certain indices. If you look at all the indices, GDP, unemployment, inflation, exchange rates, interest rates, that's how you measure the performance of the economy. On all fronts, we are not doing well. The rest of the things he said, I'm not so much keen. The IMF has not disbursed the fourth tranche. The reason they are not disbursing is that government is not agreeing to set goals in the ECF program. So the business community, the donor partners, international community have lost confidence in our economy. That's why the IMF is not disbursing the fourth tranche. Now, if the IMF does not disburse, donor partners will disburse, the World Bank will not disburse. So we seek to raise about $400 million from the international community. It's not coming in. So there's lack of confidence in the economy, and that's what's translating into a non-disbursement by the country.
It's encouraging to hear the debt sustainability measures put in place by government yielding some good results with a few years ago, you personally were concerned about Ghana being declared debt risk distress. Certainly, absolutely. So today we are at 63% of GDP, which is quite encouraging, not at 72 as it was post HIPC. And what is significant is the management of the debt risk. You now have Gapuha, Ghana Airport Company, and many state-owned enterprises now borrowing on the strength of their balance sheet. That is a new paradigm in terms of debt management.
So those were some reactions to the presentation of the mid-year budget in Parliament. Away from that, let's now get some updates in business elsewhere in the world. Welcome back to Business Live. Now, Bertha Atubiga has joined me here. She's going to tell us more about how the market opened today on Monday. Good evening, welcome. How did we close last Friday and how
today?
It opened?
Okay. Thank you. Today was Monday. So how the market closed today?
Okay, right.
And today's market was quite impressive in terms of liquidity or the equity. The total equities that exchanged hands on the stock exchange was very, very, very impressive. Looking at the close of today's trade, we had over 700,000 shares trading on the markets, but the value of the equities was quite lower because most of the equities that traded huge volumes were relatively low priced equities on the exchange. We had 33 deals and we had 10 equities trading. However, the movers that we had only 3 movers on the market and they were all losers. GCB, PBC and then SIC lost on their previous share prices. GBC lost, they all lost a peso actually. And then GBC closed at 3 cedis 15 pesos, PBC at 5 pesos, and then we had PZ Cousins closing at 22 pesos per share. So these were the movers that we had, all losers, and then we had a total of 727,450 shares trading at 127,708 Ghana cedis.
Now, how do the equities, the financial equities especially, I mean, what is the state as of now?
Okay, now with the financial equities, when we look at the Bank of Ghana financial summary that came out, the non-performing loans has increased. If you compare from January to May 2016, it has increased from 14.6% to 19.3%. And then you look at their capital adequacy ratio, which has also reduced. Definitely it will reduce because their NPLs are going up. It has reduced from 17.9% to 16.6% in May. Now what this is actually sending out, or the signal, is that there's this is not a positive signal for the financial equities, and this is a bad signal, meaning that most of the loans that are being given out, and you know, one primary thing that happens with most of these financial equities, especially the listed ones, is that they give out loans, and the interest in the loans is what they get as that's the profit that they make. Okay. Right. So with this latest development, there's going to be much pressure on these equities, especially the financial equities, because with this happening, it means that their bottom lines might be affected. So it is high time that we come into actually putting strategies to reduce this.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That was Bertha Atubiga. Now for our interview of the day. The Energy Commission has granted 29 local companies licenses to import and deal in solar installations in the country. The Director of Renewables at the Energy Commission, Kwabena Otudankwa, stated this in an interview with Joy Business. This is part of measures, he said, to overcome the over-dependence on hydro and thermal generation sources in the country. The country seeks to use renewable energy supply for more than 20% by 2020.
The law, we have a licensing regime for importation of renewable energy systems, and during the course of the year we have licensed 29 companies to import solar systems. We haven't had any applications for individuals. I think all the applications that we have are for companies. They are either limited liability companies or enterprise. For the licensing process, I would say that in the law we have so many activities that licenses are given for. For the procedure, I have mentioned that we have so many activities that license are taken for in the renewable energy sector. For the importation license, you need to submit your company registration. So first and foremost, the entity that wants to do the importation will have to be licensed by the Registrar General. So you put in the application and you submit your documents. That is your registration documents, which includes incorporation documents.
Where we draw down the curtains on this evening's edition of Business Live. You can always stay interactive with us by tweeting at JoyBusinessGH is the handle. If you're a Facebooker, go to Joy Business, that's our page, and like it for more details. Now you can also log on to myjoyonline.com/business for more business news updates. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafik. Join me again same time tomorrow for another package. Good evening.